and leading for home wingspan. Tastiera, Romantic Warrior. He's come up outside the 3. Romantic Warrior, he's taken over 2 on Liberty Island. It's history at Sha Tin. Voyage Bubble is the leader. He's 3 lengths on Galaxy Patch, but it's Voyage Bubble. He won it last year, and again, he wins the Stewards Cup. Now Voyage Bubble, he hits a gap between horses from Happy Together, but Voyage Bubble, he put them away. But I'll just drop in from Riyadh, says James McDonald, and grab the City Hong Kong Gold Cup.
And he's clear. Voyage Bubble, 31 years on since River Verdon. He's a Triple Crown victor. He's a Triple Crown champion.
Magic Control leads, but here he is, Ka Ying Rising at the 250. He swept 3 lengths in front of Magic Control. Helios Express runs on, but it's Ka Ying Rising. He does it with the grace and poise of another great sprinter. He's the Usain Bolt of the equine world.
Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new season of the Triple Trio. So exciting to have Hong Kong racing back, and it launches in style on Sunday. Clint Hutchison and the golden boy in the Hall of Famer Shane Dye is part of our huge team. Hutchie, hallelujah, we're back.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Can't wait for the start of the season. It's a highlight, that little freshen up. And how about this, Richo, as well?
Oh, it looks magnificent and high def all the way up into his penthouse. Golden boy, welcome to what's going to be a great season, mate.
Well, what a great weekend. This is my favourite weekend of the year. We've got the US Open, we've got the NFL starting, which is my favourite sort of sport. And, of course, we've got the best racing in the world, Hong Kong, starting back up. So what better weekend is there?
Oh, it is absolutely magnificent. It's interesting. We just looked at the highlights of the season that was. And when you reflect on the Hong Kong Horse of the Year, how remarkable was the talent that we had, led by Ka Ying Rising?
Well, you'd feel hard done by not winning it.
Yeah.
And you got the, with Romantic Warrior and Voyage Bubble, of course, not quite getting it done. And the seasons that they've amassed, it's incredible. So, yeah, it was amazing. And the superstar that it's Ka Ying, he's just got something a little bit special.
When you've got Ka Ying Rising defeating Romantic Warrior and Voyage Bubble, 3 absolute greats, 3 of the best horses in the world, and Romantic Warrior showed that overseas, didn't he? Yeah. It was fantastic. We're reflecting on the season that was before we launch into a new season. And from a trainer's and a jockey's point of view, our very special guest today is the reigning champ, and that is the Hall of Famer, Zac Purton.
Yes, it's great to have Zac back. And interrupted season for Zac last year, but still champion jockey. A lot to talk with Zac about. And, look, his last season, 138 wins with that hiccup that he had with an injury, of course, Shane. But he still had a great season and was never in threat, of course, for the title.
The best thing about it is he rode really, really well, and he would have broken the record if he hadn't got hurt, I believe. So he's back in form. He rode sensational. He's a true champion, and good luck for him this season. He's going to get all the right rides again. There's no doubt about that. So he'll still ride his 150 winners this year.
And as you predicted, Shane, John's size to the fore. The battle of the Aussies, hey? Size defeats Hayes.
Yeah, well... If you tip John Size to win the premiership, you're going to get it right more times than you're not. He wins every 1 in every 2 since he's been there. So it's never easy to predict the Trainers' Championship because it can change, but John's always up there. He's only realistically had 1 quiet year, and that was 2 years ago. But outside that, he's running the top 3 every year, and he'll do it again this year.
From an Australian point of view, pretty good though. I mean, actually outstanding when you both Jockeys and Chose. Hugh Bowman runner-up. Then we had Brenton Abdullah, who really had a very good season by his standards, of course. And then, Mark Newnham really took the step up, and Hazy was runner-up as well. So they were well represented, the Aussies.
And how did you view the season that was from a HUTCHI'S Honkers point of view? For me, as a subscriber and as a fan, it was outstanding at times. Sometimes it can be really tough at Happy Valley.
Well, we had a tough year at the Valley. We lost actually overall at the Valley, but we won at Sha Tin. And as a collective, our overall numbers were really good. As far as the best bets which is concerned, we were a touchdown on the overall season, but the collective strategy was up. And if you look at the best bets over the course of the last 8 years, we're still well in front. And long may that continue. We'll bounce back again this year.
You've got a lot to be proud of, mate. And scan that QR code and get involved and make sure you follow, I think, the best judge in any jurisdiction.
Oh, thank you.
Anywhere around the world. Stop it. Stop it. You'll pay me accordingly. Hey, what a huge show we've got coming up. Now, Nicole Purton will be part of our show yet again, launching into an amazing season. She sits down with Brett Crawford, a new addition to Hong Kong racing. That is going to be fantastic. But our very special guest is simply the best in the business in Hong Kong. Zac Purton's going to join us shortly. And we're going to find some winners. We'll analyse the races in 3, 8 and 10. Best bets and a whole lot more. But let's get stuck into the best for Sunday. So let's have a look at Sunday. We're racing at Sha Tin. We're launching what's going to be an amazing season. Let's look at the superstar. Race number 3, and Ka Ying Rising is back, and of course he's the starting point.
That he is, and he'll be very short odds once again. Of course, a race he won last year, and Ka Ying Rising will start, I don't know, on the local tote, $1.20, $1.30. I got him around that $1.30 mark. Beauty Waves, I think, will be the main danger. Bottom Up Together is an interesting run. This was the race last year, Shane, where the rain started to fall just before the race. They still ran very good time, just over 68 seconds for the 1,200 metres. Beauty Waves has changed stables, but he's back in good form, and they might well run 1-2 again this year.
They should. I actually had Beauty Waves on top last year, and I thought he would win this race at the weights. And this is when I realised, and I said on the show, this horse is better than everyone realises. Ka Ying Rising, because with 135 pounds on a track like that, you can't win that easy. So I said then and there, this horse could be a champion, which he is. Tomorrow he's got a good go. On Sunday he's got a good gate 4. It's up to Zac. He'll tell us what he'll do. You know he's going to go forward. But he's got that 20 pounds weight disadvantage, but he handled it last year, Clint.
He did, and he meets that rival who was runner-up on the same terms. Both have trialled well. What I do like about Ka Ying Rising, he's had 2 trials coming in. He's ready to go. But this is a couple of the others that could well figure. I mean, there's a lot of speed in this race. That might suit a horse like Raging Blizzard, who comes through late in this race. And the horse that I mentioned as well, Bottom Up Together, Zac went quite hard here. He went 5 lengths faster than standard to the 400-metre mark. He was a little bit vulnerable late. There's a lot of speed. Bottom Up Together is the kind of horse that could track the speed with a bit of luck in running. With no weight on his back, he can run time, and he's often put up good performances. Did you like any of those to figure in the finish, Shane?
Yeah, well, he raced well all last season, Bottom Up Together. There's no doubt about that. The pace is definitely going to be on. There's a heap of pace. Here's Lucky Swaness. He trialled all right. He was ridden out. He's laying in once again. He's getting older now, Clint, and he's had problems. Gate 5, he can be a bit slow to jump, so I'd have him about midfield. But he was a superstar.
He was. He's not going well enough. That's Giant Leadback on the inside there. He's pushed out. He's nowhere near what he was before. And you know, we've just thrown a hard ball there at Shane to kick off with as well, and he came through with flying colours with the Lucky Swaness as well.
It's taken a while, but he's absolutely nailed the pronunciation of Lucky Swaness just before he retires. that is the horse. So Ka Ying Rising just simply wins Golden Boy.
He should. Beauty Waves is definitely going really well. He trialled good. He's got a different trainer, and last year when he went to Cruises, 2 wins were very good, and he showed a lot more gate speed in his last run at Happy Valley. So he doesn't have to improve a lot this year to be competitive at the weights. I've got co-partner France in for 3rd because he's got a good gate, no weight, and he's not far away from them. But as Clint said, Bottom Up Together was very promising last year and raced well all season.
So from an Everest point of view, because we know that's the number 1 target for Ka Ying Rising, what do you want to see? Do you want to see a demolition? Do you want to see, are you just looking, forget the time, forget the margins, you're just looking at him physically? What do you want?
Oh, look, I think the thing with him is they've got him pretty wound up here. He's had 2 trials as opposed to a lot of his rivals have had 1. They've got to have him pretty fit by the time he gets down here. So I don't think they'll leave any stone unturned. I think they'll be down there pedal to the metal with Ka Ying. And he's not going to be able to win by a massive margin, I would imagine, with the weight, but he'll be pretty close to where he needs to be.
And what's the plan? Does he race again, or does he come straight to Australia then?
No, I don't think he won't be running again, that's for sure.
In Hong Kong. So rise in Australia and then fingers crossed have a dry track, because we don't want to see a bottomless traditional heavy 10 at Randwick to undo the best sprinter in the world. I think we want to see him show his absolute best skills. Race number 8, who do you like here?
Yeah, this is a really good race. In fact, there's a horse in this race that I think could have run well at a price. Zac had worked him. Interesting that Fast Network has decided to go to the 1,400 metres. Little throw dot for him. HUTCHI'S Spirit, I've got second favourite, my early rated price. Young Champion's been a model of consistency over this trip, and Pray for Mare I thought could run a bit of a race. Really interesting runner, this one, I think, Shane. This looks like the kind of horse, I think, this season that will make his way up to some of the better sprinters in Hong Kong. He rose through the grades last year. Hugh Bowman rode him this day. Zac's been on his work here. And I think, once again, he looks primed to run a big race, Fast Network.
He was very impressive last season, this horse. I know he had two runs where he got beat over a mile. He's got no worries at all running 1,400 the way he races. He trialled extremely well here down the outside, and he was giving him very easy trial. As you said, Clint, the worry was he did have a wind operation in the off-season, but a lot of horses come back from it now. It doesn't seem to affect them like it did years ago. He looked good here.
He looked exceptional, and that success rate with the operation is huge.
Yeah.
Just take note. Now, this horse, Fast Network, he ran on the same day and won that race we showed as Ka Ying Rising ran. He ran a length slower with more weight.
With more weight?
With more weight. He's a very, very talented horse. And I don't think 1,400 personally is his best trip. But, it's a tricky map for him this time around. But he might just have a class edge.
I've got the Cornella horse for us, my horse.
Your horse?
Yeah, my boy. You know that what he'll do, he will run on, he will threaten, and that his name is Young Champion.
Oh, yeah.
Surely Young Champion will be,
he'll
be ready to go through to the next level.
I liked his shot. One thing with him, Shane, Young Champion, he's super consistent. He usually runs his races. You've got to leave him alone a little bit early. Oh, geez, he's been costly for us a few times, but he could certainly figure right here.
I think he's been a bit disappointing because he looked really good early on. And he did run in this race last year, and he started favourite, and he only ran 5th. It was a leader's track, but he didn't quicken in the straight. I thought his trial was okay, but nothing special. I wouldn't be surprised if he placed. I've got Fast Network on top from Mark Wynn, who had a big season last year. Now, I want everyone to remember this healthy Happy. He's getting very old. I think he's had 5 seasons, and first up, he's won or placed every year. His best run is always this meeting. Now, he could go a race at big odds because there's not a lot of pace in the race, and he will get a very soft lead here, Clint.
He will. There's not a lot of pressure, but just hope Fast Network can get a bit of luck in running. It's one of many good rides for the champion rider, who we'll be talking to shortly.
Yeah, Zac Purton, he rides Patch of Stars in the Lucky Last, race number 10. How do you see that race?
Yeah, well, this is a very interesting one. Patch of Stars started at prohibitive odds at the end of last season and had every chance to run past Beauty Crescent. We'll look at that replay in a moment. And as a consequence, I can't really have too much between them in the market. And I certainly can't have him odds on in my early rated price. Spirit of Peace ended last campaign really well when they took the hood off. I've got him marked around that $6 mark. And Pope Cody with a better barrier might get a softer run. I don't think it's a race laden with chances. Shane, I want your opinion here. I didn't think there were any excuses for Patch of Stars here. He loomed up, he brushed the other horse. I'm not sure whether or not that put him off his game. On the day, I was very disappointed. I think we had him as our best Patch of Stars. And at this point, you think, how far? And he was just playing that last 50 metres.
Well, he had won his 3 previous starts very impressively, and he looked like a horse that would go to 100. He was a bit disappointing. He trialled the other day, trialled all right. It was good, but nothing sensational. But I had him going to 100. Now, I want to see him do it, but he's entitled to be favourite here, Clint, and he will be favourite.
Yeah, I think Zac will be somewhat conservative out of the gates. There's not actually a lot of pressure in the race, and Spirit of Peace generally gets back. I think Beauty Crescent, Shane, though, he's got to be in the mix. There was no fluke about that win either.
No, he won well, of course. pray for. Well, where are we? Sorry, I've got that much on my computer here.
Spirit of Peace.
Spirit of Peace. Well, he's in his second season now, and of course, John Sizer's horses normally improve first to second season. So he ran all right here. This was his first run, I think, in Class 3 this day, and he ran third.
This was he won prior to this. His closing sections were outstanding. The issue for him, Richo, no early pace.
Yeah.
He's just got very little early pace. He's going to be back in the field. So we will need to have a look at how the track's playing. We're going to talk a little bit about the track on opening day later in the show. But he's a horse that might be giving them a start, but he has a brilliant turn of form.
That's the task for Andrea Etzeni, who's riding him. Shane, who do you like in the last?
I got Patch of Stars on top. You got to have him on top. He's got an awkward gait, as Clint said. Armour War Eagle trialled nice the other day, and his form was pretty good last season. He's never far away, so I got him. And Attila Bagil, the number 2 horse, he'll get back and run on.
Okay, so that's a look at 3 races when we get to an unbelievable Sunday. We'll give our very best as well at the end of the show. But let's clear the decks because our star power guest is the best in the business. What a way to start the season with our star power guest being the absolute best in the business, the champion jockey yet again, Zac Purton, and recently inducted into Australian Racing Hall of Fame.
Well
Zac, thanks for joining us on the show, mate. And can I start by saying congratulations on your Hall of Fame elevation. You thoroughly deserve it.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and obviously appreciate the little piece that you put together for me as well last season. So that led the way, and it's nice that it's all come together.
What was that feeling like, mate, when you heard the news that you've been inducted into Australian Racing Hall of Fame?
Yeah, it was nice. They contacted Nicole first, and she had to keep it a secret for a couple of days. And then when she was trying to break it to me and said that we had to make a phone call, I just got home from trials. I was hot, I was sweaty, I was trying to do some work, and I was trying to brush her off a little bit, and she insisted on this phone call. And I should have tweaked at what was going on, but I was a bit grumpy. I was sort of trying to brush her off and say, not now. But she said, no, we've got to do it. So we did it, and it was nice to hear those words, and it's great to be in there with our idol.
That's right. So can you believe we have 2 Hall of Famers on our show? Golden Boy, you're welcome in, Zac, into your club, mate.
Yeah, that's great. But it's only a matter of time before you get into a Hall of Fame for running, Richo. They put you in.
No,
is there an athletics Hall of Fame?
Not at the low level that I'm at, I can assure you of that. Hey, Zac, how was your holidays?
Yeah, it was really good. We had a great time. We travelled around the Mediterranean in Europe, up there in summer. It's hard to go wrong. We did a few things for the kids, put them in a couple of academies. Cash really enjoyed the Real Madrid Football Academy. It sort of spurred him on to want to do a little bit better, which is good. And then from there, we travelled around Sardinia, Corsica, Saint-Tropez, where the adults had a little bit of fun before we went to Monaco, and then we stopped in Oman on the way back.
Oh,
Zac, how's your weight after a trip like that and you come back to Hong Kong? What type of weight have you put on?
I didn't put on as much as I have previously, basically because we did most part of the trip just as a family. I find when I'm with friends and with other people, I probably eat and drink a little bit more, but with the family, I can control it a little bit. And it was really hot up there, so every day, it didn't matter if you were walking down the street or swimming. It felt like I was always doing a bit of a workout. And then I started to cut the food back probably about 10 days before we come back and started doing a little bit more swimming and running and things like that. So I started to set myself up before I got back to Hong Kong. So I got rid of the bloat before I got back instead of waiting to do that when I got back.
Oh, that's great insight, isn't it?
It sure is.
And you clean your boots and get ready to jump on a superstar hutch.
It is. Well, look, Ka Ying Rising, I mean, you're going to have a lot of media commitments, I'd imagine, Zac, in the next 6 weeks, not only Hong Kong, but from Australia and around the world for that matter. And I suppose we'll jump in now and get a little bit of all that. How's he going?
He's going really, really well. I'm really happy with him. He's come back a little bit stronger. He's carrying 20 pound more. Whether that's fat or whether that's him growing and maturing, to me it feels like he's matured. You sit on him, he just feels bigger, he feels stronger. But mentally, he's just such a more relaxed horse. Even in the mornings, he still wants to get on his toe and jig jog when he's going out to the track a little bit. But going to the start for the trials, standing in the gates, handling all that, It seems to be a different horse. He's just really furnished into a lovely horse now, and I'm very excited about what lays ahead for us.
We obviously won this race last year. I think it's interesting as well that what you've asked him to do in the trials, because he's had two, most of them have had one, but we're just commenting on the race itself and saying that, you know, David has to have him pretty close to the mark, obviously, with the Everest in mind and this race as well. What is your take on all of that? Is that a fair point that I make in terms of what's been asked of him in the morning so far?
Yeah, I think you're right there, Clint. We can't afford to have a misstep with him. We don't have enough time to rectify that, and he needs to get ready for the Everest. So there's no use going out there and holding him back to the rest of the field when he needs to be having a blowout and he needs to be getting the work under his belt. So we've just allowed him to do as much as he's wanted to do. I haven't had to chase him or ask him to do anything. He's done all that on his own, except in the last trial on the grass. I made sure he just went through the line a little bit, let him continue to run through the line so that he wasn't, having half a trial and he was doing the work we needed him to do. But apart from not changing his leg, he's been beautiful in everything he's done. He's really pleased me. Very happy with him, and I'm really looking forward to not just this weekend, but what lies ahead in the next few months.
Zac, you know the horse so well. How do you think he'll travel?
I think he's got the right attitude to travel. He goes up to Chongfa regularly, so I think that's going to hold him in good stead. He's used to changing stables. He's used to a bit of a different environment. Of course, getting on a plane and going to a new country and an environment that he's not familiar with is going to be a little bit different. But if any horse is going to be able to adapt and handle it with aplomb, I think he's the right one.
Just on that note, for those who don't know, Chongfa, the training centre in China, is it about a 6-hour drive, Zac, for the horses when they go up there? Logistically, what's it like?
Yeah, I'm actually not quite sure how long it takes for the horses. It definitely takes longer for them than it does for us, because they have to stop at the border and have a few more checks placed on them, being livestock, and then the trucks obviously can't travel as quick as the cars and the vans. When we go up in the morning and there's no cars on the road, it takes every bit of 3 hours, even a little bit longer to get up there. So with traffic at the times they go and having to go through the border and the speeds the trucks have to travel at, you can easily get that out to 5 and possibly upwards of 6.
Shane, it's interesting looking at Hong Kong horses travelling internationally, but with all the stats that you'll see about it, I think it's changed a lot, because the quality of horse flesh in Hong Kong now has gone through the roof, that I can imagine this winning percentage, Shane, will only go up from now.
Well, if you're sending, say, horses like Voyage Bubble, Ka Ying Rising and Romantic Warrior, can only go up. They're superstars, you know. Although I must say Voyage Bubble didn't travel very well last year, did he, Zac? He's had 2 goes and failed both times.
You're right, Shane. But in Hong Kong we race right-handed, and his 2 efforts overseas were going left-handed, and he just couldn't handle going the opposite direction. So can probably forgive him for those efforts. But I'd love to see him down in Australia actually going right-handed in an All-Star Mile, Donka, whatever it is. But just right-handed, he's a completely different horse.
I think those stats are what's really interesting. Australia's a hard place to come and win.
Absolutely.
It's not easy. So
You've got to be a star.
There's 2 out of 50, and it was Cape of Good Hope that won a Group 1, of course, and Romantic Warrior. I mean, he won the Cox Plate that he was aimed for. We haven't had a horse of the calibre really outside of Romantic Warrior, now Ka Ying Rising. A lot of those others were good horses. Some of them were very good, but they weren't absolute champions. But it's going to buoy the Australian contingent as well, Zac. I think it's not easy to come down here and win, particularly at our sort of peak times of the year.
And especially as a sprinter, Australia is known around the world for their sprinter milers and more so their sprinters. So you're going to the toughest environment in the world to try and take them on in their own backyard in a race where all the horses are going to be set to peak on the day. It's not as if it's a stepping stone to another race. Every horse is going to be trained and prepared to be at their best that day, and that's the challenge that we need to face.
And the other challenge might be a wet track. Is that a worry for you? If you come down an Everest day is one of those, you've won Doncasters on wet tracks, one of those wet track days up in Sydney, would that worry you?
Yeah, it would. I would prefer him to be on a hard, fast track that he gets here in Hong Kong, because we know what he can do and we know what to expect, and his greatest asset is his high cruising speed. He loves to roll along. He can do it comfortably on fast speed, and then he can accelerate off it. And those types of horses generally struggle a little bit in soft ground, so I'd hate to see the rain come down.
Hey, Zac, you ended last season in unbelievable form. Unbelievable. You had a whole host of winners, and I looked at your book of rides here, And on opening day, wow. You got some. Can you run through them?
Your manager's doing well.
Well, Perfect Pete should have won at the end of last season. I was unlucky on him twice, so I need to make amends there. Ka Ying Rising, we're all looking forward to seeing him. Super strong kid, trialled well the other day, but he's up against Parents Love, who's back down in 4. He's going to be really hard to catch. Sunset Trail, he's a nice horse. Might need a little bit more time, but he's a good mover. If he gets it right, he's capable. Trying to win probably needs a little bit further. Groovy Feeling, drawn poorly but going well. Fast Network, drawn poorly but going well. Bold General.
This is an interesting runner for Jamie Richards. This guy showed a great turn of foot this day, Zach.
He did. They went really hard in this race, though. Those 4 or 5 horses up front were absolutely flying along, and they set it up for him. He was just off midfield and rounded him up pretty quickly. But this is what he can do, and now he's up in grade, down in weight, lightly raced horse, as does feel the ground a lot. So I don't know how long his career is going to last, but he's certainly got more to give.
And Patch of Stars, we were talking about him a moment ago. Were you disappointed? I thought you had the race in your keeping at the 200 last time. Did you think the same?
I was disappointed on the day for sure. Yeah. I thought he could win, but historically, 3-year-olds in Class 3 that's carried top weight over 1,400 have got a really poor record. I think there's been 2 winners in a decade or something. Even Wellington, I rode him as a 3-year-old over the same distance with the same weight, and he runs second. And I think this horse is a bit like him. They're both by all too hard. He's got that electric turn of foot. I think this horse might end up a sprinter. They obviously want to go down the 4-year-old series and try and get him into the Classic Mile and the Derby. But I think history will show that he might be better over 1,200. And he could get 1,400 too, but I just think he might end up a sprinter.
Shane, it's a nice start for Zach, isn't it? That's a good book of rides.
It's a really good book of rides. You can ride definitely a few winners. Of course, Bob General, he looked very impressive, as he said. Fast Network, Patch of Stars, naturally Ka Ying Rising, and Super Strong Kid. They're all very, very good rides.
Yeah, fantastic.
And that's leaving out Perfect Patch.
Hey, Shane, you want to talk to Zach something about trial speed?
Yeah, Zach, I was wondering. This is interesting. This year, I've noticed, I haven't noticed it any other year, they're running unbelievable times in trials everywhere in Hong Kong and China. Like up in China, they're running 56, 57 seconds and thousands. They never used to break 59 up there. And the same in Hong Kong, they're running 1.9 on the dirt, most trials. Why do you think that's happened this season?
So the dirt has been very fast. It's been quite firm. It's been a little bit soft on top, but underneath it's been quite firm. We've had a couple of horses slip coming out the gates because they've hit the base underneath. So it's certainly had the track a little bit faster. They've got a new timing system, but as you mentioned, there have been a lot of horses running, close to 1.9, which is race speed. But Chongfa, I think they used to use the work riders up there. And they used to go a lot slower, obviously, than what the jockeys do. They'd jump out, grab hold, canter along and build up. I think as time has gone on, with all the jockeys going up there and they're used to going the speed that we go at now, I think that's why they're going a little bit quicker. But at the same time, the Jockey Club went through a phase where they thought animal welfare was an issue and they wanted to make the tracks softer and they were overwatering the tracks. And, that created a lot of biases and you couldn't read the form and it was all over the joint. But they put the hose away. They've allowed the tracks to dry a little bit more, and I think maybe the tracks are just, they're just physically firmer and faster than what they were 1 or 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Have you got a goal in mind this season?
I always want to ride over 100 winners. So that's the number one goal. Anything over that is a bonus. I have been told I'm 122 winners off 2,000. So let's hope we can tick that off and get to that. And then beyond that, it's just the normal ones, right? We've got the Everest there, love to win a Melbourne Cup. We've got the international races and try and find a horse for the Derby. So we'll get into the season, try and get going. Hopefully I can start well. It'll be nice to have another good season, and we'll keep our fingers crossed.
And just before we say goodbye to you, Zach, is there a chance that we'll see you down before the Everest? Are you any hope of coming down for earlier races in the spring or not?
I haven't been approached for any early races. Actually, I could have been in Melbourne on Saturday night, but I didn't want to take the risk with Ka Ying Rising racing on Sunday. But outside of that, no, I'll come down and trial him on the 7th at Randwick, but I don't have any other rides lined up. There's been a feeler for the Golden Eagle, and I'm trying to find a cup ride, so we'll see how that goes. It'd be great if I could ride an Australian trained horse in that cup.
Zach, one quick question. Is David taking a companion, another horse with Ka Ying Rising to keep him happy down there?
He is, yes. But the companion's had a bit of a sore foot recently, so we're hoping that he can get over his sore foot so he can make the trip down there and keep him company. But Ka Ying Rising doesn't gallop with other horses anyway. He only ever gallops on his own, so he doesn't need a companion to be a bunny to lead him along. He just needs someone that can be there in the stable with him and maybe go out on the track and canter around or do whatever he wants. But he just needs another horse there. So whether his foot recovers well enough for that horse to do any work or not probably doesn't matter. He's still going to be there.
Right. Zach, congratulations again on the Hall of Fame, mate. Good luck for an outstanding season. Thanks for letting Nicole be part of our family. We absolutely love her. She's doing some brilliant work for us on the Triple Trio. Have a great season, mate. We look forward to seeing you in Australia very soon.
Yeah, thanks, guys. She obviously loves the show. I have to keep telling her to put her notes down when she's rehearsing at night when I'm trying to go to sleep. So she loves it and she's enjoying it. So it's good for her, it's good for us, and it's good to see her on the show. So all the best. Hope you guys have a good season as well.
Great stuff. There is the one and only Zac Purton, our superstar power guest. Let's get into HUTCHI'S form files and let's try to educate our audience in regards to Hong Kong racing. Can we talk rail positions?
Yeah, we can, and we resume this season with the rail in the A position. So they do move the rail out every meeting, and here it is. So rail true, 35.5 metres the width. So this is just a bit of a guide to when you're picking up the Hong Kong form guide or you're looking online in terms of if you see B course, C course, what does that all mean? Well, this is what it means. It basically means the rail moves out, and then as Shane has said in previous shows, that you're not sort of going backwards and forths in Hong Kong. The rail goes out and then they'll go back to the fresh ground. Yeah, so you should always be on fresh ground, and this is once again Happy Valley with a shorter straight, but the same sorts of rails positions. The furthest rail position out is the C+3, and that really narrows the track down quite considerably, as we've seen. But I wanted to show those just to educate those who are not sure about the Hong Kong racing, they might see it. And also we can touch on, Shane, I wanted just to touch on the A course and what it does generally here on the opening day, because A course hasn't, rail true, it's been a little bit different in the last 4 years. The last couple of years, 8 of 10 of them were in the first form running, and we did have some rain during the meeting. That was the meeting that we saw Ka Ying Rising win at. So a lot of them were prominently positioned. The year prior, we had a lot of rain. Yeah. And it was a real on-pace pattern, and the 2 years prior was quite an even track. Shane, we've got dry weather leading in. I think it'll be leaning towards an even sort of track there on Sunday, but it wouldn't surprise me if they are running some pretty good times that on speed might not be a bad spot to be again.
Up until 2 seasons ago, the A track was the most fairest track, or you can say there was bias there, because they would sit 3 wide midfield to back and come down the middle of the track. In the last couple of years, it's switched a little bit to on-pace, Clint. That's what I've noticed, and inside. But as you've said there, it was on rain-affected tracks. It shouldn't be rain-affected this week, so maybe it might go back to midfield down the middle of the track. I don't know. I'll wait and see after 2 races, I could tell you. But there's definitely less bias in Hong Kong racing than there is in Australian racing with racetracks. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. And, of course, when you follow HUTCHI'S Honkers and when you're a subscriber, you give updates in regards to the way the track's playing.
That we do.
Etc. throughout the day. Hey, also, it's brilliant to have G1 Goldmine part of our family again.
They're big partners. They have been all along the way. And, of course, we know G1 Goldmine is actually powered by Stallion Match, and this is what you get with Stallion Match. It's that time of year, Richo. I know you love your breeding.
I do.
You are all over it.
That's
and if you want to increase the odds of what you've got, and I think it's about 15 times with the algorithms that are involved here, you want to choose the right sire for your mare. You got to get involved, and Stallion Match. The power of this tool is unmatched. So it's that time of year. We thank Group 1 Goldmine, and Stallion Match is something, if you're in the breeding game, you just got to use it.
Well, in the past, so many of the experts have used their eye and also, a bit of a hunch and gone back through history, but actually having, data and stats to back it up is brilliant. So well done to G1 Goldmine and well done to that Stallion Match. It's an absolute beauty. Oh, guess what, everyone? It's idle time. The Idol is, of course, the competition that every jockey around the world, but in particular Hong Kong, wants to win. It's judged by the Golden Boy in Raymond Shane Dye. And Golden, you gave it to Zac Purton again. He dominated. He goes back-to-back in the Idol.
He rode really well last season. He deserved to win it. This year we're doing something different. I've been told I've got to close it up a little bit.
Oh, really?
So there's only 3 votes. 3, 2, 1. It's going to be difficult because some boys will deserve votes and they won't be getting them. But, I'm just here to go along with you boys, Richo. You's run it, so I'll be doing that, what I'm told.
Yeah,
Raymond Shane Dye, the HOF, has gone with a 3-2-1.
I'm a little bit. The Idol's gone a bit like the Pink Panther. It's missing.
The actual physical Idol.
I feel it's been stolen.
Oh, no.
So we do need to find it.
I think his little bobblehead might have fallen off. It was doing that much wobbling along. Whip rules in Hong Kong, Shane. There's been Mark Van Gestel making an announcement in regards to how they're going to assess it this season. Any major changes there worth noting?
Well, yeah, I can only hit them every second stride before the 100 metres. So it's not a big difference. It's nothing like Australia where they went completely no whip. Here, it's not going to change a lot. It'll be a little bit. The thing I will say with the whip rules, I hate it, and I suppose everyone does. And this is why they come in. When a horse can't win and he's out of contention, jockey's hitting that horse. That's where they should be suspended and fined. It's just not right. If you're in contention, you should. That's my personal view, and that's there also. They will drastically take action against anyone out of contention whipping their horse, which is really good. That's what should be done, Clint.
And is there a jockey you've got an eye on this year? I mean, Zac and Hugh picked themselves. Is there a rising star you've got your eye on?
Well, I've got my main one is Matthew Poon because he rode really well. At the start of last season, he was sensational. He was putting every horse in the right position, going really well. And the last 2 months, it wasn't him riding. It was a different person. He rode terrible.
Why do you reckon that was, Shane? What happened in those last couple of months? Because I noticed that myself.
He just lost everything. He should have ridden 10 winners or more, and he won none. He was slaughtering horses, so I don't know what happened. But he went from an A-grade jockey throughout the season to the last 2 months just off the ball. And I don't know, Clint. I can't answer that, but everything he was doing, he wasn't doing. So he's interesting to me in that regard because he was flying, absolutely flying, and he went off. The other one I thought, which is very interesting, is James Orman. I thought he rode very well last season with not many opportunities. It's the second season here. I'm not sure what weight he rides. What weight does he ride?
Oh, I don't think he can ride under about 119. Shane. So that's going to make it tough. But
I thought he did really well and rode pretty well last season for the chances he got, Clint. I don't know what you think.
I'm 100% with you. He did an amazing job. I mean, we see some riders go there and struggle. He actually thrived with limited opportunities. Like he did a very, very good job, and I think you'll see him build on what he did last year. And we've had the odd Queensland leading jockey go up there and do very well, aka Zac Purton.
That's right. Zac is the ultimate example. Champion trainer, what do you think? Is Jay Size the starting point?
Well, it always is for sure. Are you going Jay Size again this year, Shane? Or, my pick's going to be Hazy. I think
Hazy
can knock him off?
I'll stick with John Size because I'm going to get it right more times than get it wrong.
Yeah, it's a fair call. Yeah. But I'll tell you what,
we've only got a few more years of him, I think, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we've got to find someone else along the way.
We need to. He's going well, Johnny Size. We need to keep him there, don't we?
Yeah.
Hazy, well, I think you need, and we saw this when Francis Lloyd won the championship, most of them, you do need a star in your stable, like a Ka Ying, that can win those bunch of races. You need a right blend of horses. You need up-and-coming horses. You need good PPs and a nice cross-section through the grades. Hazy's got it. He's got the numbers. He's got a star. Ka Ying will win 6 or 8 this year probably, and that can sometimes be the difference.
Tough task. A horse to follow.
I do have one that I went through, and it's an unraced horse. In fact, we did an article on HUTCHI'S Honkers.
Unraced
and this is I tell you what, these owners, they always get good horses, the packing fraternity. And this is an unraced galloper. In Hong Kong, they call them griffins. So it's a PPG, an unraced horse. And packing, what was it called?
Packing
Phoenix. Jumped out, won a turf trial in really good style. Zac rode it, and he rides a lot for those owners as well. I would say that horse will be tough to beat, like that trial.
Shane, have you got one?
Well, he's not hard to find, this horse. He's very well bred. He's a Derby horse, Sun Jewelry. I think he's the real deal. I would have him. I don't know the overseas horses that have been purchased for the Derby, but in my betting, he's favourite at this stage. He just did everything right. He lays in, that's the only thing, but I'm not worried about that. He's out of a Group 1 sprinting mare by the Autumn Sun, which are flying at present. So he's got the breeding, he's got everything going from that horse. And
with the right stable,
with
the right stable. You know what, Shane? He'll take a bit of beating in the Derby. I mean,
if there were
some early markets out for that, you'd be happy to play.
We're called the Triple Trio, but really we're the Fantastic Four, because Nicole Purton is on the ground in Hong Kong, and she catches up with a new edition of Hong Kong racing, the star South African Brett Crawford.
Brett Crawford arrived in Hong Kong having trained horses to win over 1,400 races in South Africa, including multiple Group 1s. I can't wait to find out more about that success and why he's happy to set himself the challenge of kicking goals here. Brett, given your success training in South Africa, what was the decision like to move to Hong Kong?
So obviously, Nicole, it's been a place that I've inspired to get to for a while, and obviously it's come at a really good time in my life in terms of my son getting involved in my business. So, you know, because obviously it's a big step when you give up a business of 180 horses at home to come to the unknown. But obviously with the reassurance that it's in the family and that James will step up and do a good job. So for me, it's come at a really good time, and the transition's been great for both of us. So yeah, it's exciting.
You've won the Durban July and Cape Town Met on numerous occasions, 2 races very well known to our Whirlpool customers. How do those achievements rate amongst your career highlights?
Well, I think especially the very first Durban July.
See it again in Winchester Mansion, eyeball to eyeball. Here it comes, Winchester Mansion. See it again.
Obviously, as a trainer, it's a race that in South Africa everyone's looking to win, and obviously being the first one that I won 3 years ago now, was really special because it was a fact that James had done a lot of preparation. So father and son combination, the first time for me winning the race, and obviously for James, who did so much work. So that was a really special day.
How have you found building up your Hong Kong stable?
Yeah, look, it's difficult, Nicole. You know, you have to network a lot, and obviously coming off here, you know nobody, you know no owners, so you really have to put yourself out there, which probably takes, I would think, a lot of people out of their comfort zone. You know, at home you're well known, and generally, you know, horses come to you. Now you've got to go look for the horses. So it is different. It's taken a little bit of getting used to, and obviously, you know, been fortunate enough that we've been given some support in the early stages of our stable opening. So I'm pretty happy.
When do you aim to have your first horses at the races?
Well, I think we'll have a run on first meeting. He trialled on Monday. Because Speedy Smarty, he's, you know, as I say, he trialled on Monday and trialled really well. He's actually a winner of his last start. I think he's doing really good, and yeah, I think he's off a competitive rating. tonight, only you trials, and I'm hoping he puts up a good trial because then we'll look to run him on the 14th. And, he's got pretty solid form. So as long as he trials well, then I think, he could be possibly the second runner.
Now, even though you're born in Zimbabwe, can we assume that you're a passionate follower of the South African rugby and cricket teams?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I left Zimbabwe many, many years ago when I was a young boy. So South Africa has definitely been home for me for the last 30 plus years. So there's no doubt I'll be supporting the Boks next weekend.
And no doubt he will make a big, big impact in Hong Kong. It's been 20 years we haven't spoken about rugby. We're starting to talk about it a little bit in Australia now.
We should do.
Hey, Richo,
Yeah.
What was the thing about the holiday, Nicole and Zac, looking at Nicole? One come back looking older because he had to lose weight, Zac, when you get back. So the holiday was only so-so. Nicole's glowing and looks younger. So she loves these holidays, looking at that.
He better ride plenty of winners this year to keep paying for this beautiful life they have, and they thoroughly and utterly deserve it. Let's have a look at global racing. Well, our World Racing, and thank you so much to the Whirlpool who are supporting us yet again. And the Whirlpool is growing rapidly. So many incredible dates of the Whirlpool all around the globe, and highlighting the best of the Group 1 racing, including this weekend, the Von Baden over in Germany with Goliath running. We might see Goliath running in a Vase at the end of the year in Hong Kong as well. But Hutch, in September, it is going to be bona fide, legendary racing all around the globe.
Oh, it is. This is what we get, the best of the best all over. And from an Australian perspective, can't wait for some of these huge meetings. It's our time of year, is at the spring, and so many of the big races on our calendar will be featured through the Whirlpool. And
you add in the Might and Power and Caulfield Guineas Day as well, which is a new addition. So Melbourne Racing Club would be thrilled about that. So a cavalcade of star races for us to bet into. And so many great races. We're looking forward towards the Cox Plate. And interesting with the news with Yulong during the week, saying that Via Sistina and Treasure the Moment will go to the Cox Plate. They'll go different ways, but eventually they'll get there, and let's find out who's the best.
MRC would have been tickled pink with this day and the turnout, the bunch of Group 1 winners. This was, if this rest of the spring is anything like what was the entree was like here, of course, last weekend, we are in for something special. And this 4-year-old batch of horses, in particular mares, they look unbelievable. Richo, we've got another star on the rise, don't we?
She is an absolute cracker. Shane, how did you assess her?
She's a star, superstar. She was very, very impressive, come back extremely well. The mares are just dominating so much in Australian racing. I've been saying it for a long time now. Something has to be done about the weights because racing's changed since steroids have gone out of the system for geldings, and it's not fair anymore. These mares and fillies just have too much advantage over the rest of the fields now.
Totally agree. They get a 2 kilo weight allowance, and I would argue there's no such thing as femininity in the thoroughbreds. And they don't deserve the 2 kilos now, especially the way that you can treat a gelding. So it's a great point you raised, Shane. Korea, we've got some horses running from Hong Kong.
Yeah, there's a couple of entrants from Hong Kong. Interesting that they've decided to head over there. So best of luck to the connections as well. That's this weekend. Self-Improvement, which actually ran pretty well. And Chan Chang Glory, who's got some sort of American or Northern Hemisphere pedigree tie up there. Maybe they'll go well on the dirt as well. So we'll have to wait and see.
And while we're away, Huey Bowman didn't have the holiday quite like Zac. He went over to the Shergar Cup and he won the Silver Saddle, showing yet again how talented he is.
Yeah, how about this ride? I think this might have even been his first or second ride at the Shergar Cup meeting, and I think this is the second time he might have won it. I
think you're right.
Yeah, I think he's won it once before. He loves it over there, Hugh, didn't he? Did a great interview as well with Nick Luck, I think, while he was over there. He looked dap, he looked ready, and he delivered on the track as well. So let's hope he can come back this season, Shane, and kick off where he left off.
The good thing about that is when you get age on you, as Huey has, and no disrespect to that, we all get old, it's harder to get your fitness back. So going there riding will actually benefit and help him for Hong Kong. It's not going to be as hard to get your fitness back when you're back in Hong Kong because, look, up until you're 35, it's easy to hold your fitness, but after that, it gets difficult.
Alexei Badel decided to go over and have a short stint over in Japan. he had a winner there. We've heard in Australia, I mean, Damien Lane has done a wonderful job over there. It's tough racing, Shane.
Yes, I think he had 12 winners, didn't he, Richo, or something?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did, Shane. He had 12 winners.
And he's another one who'll have his fitness and he'll just get going straight away.
A very quick break. You're watching the Triple Trio, and after the break, Nicole will catch up with a couple of jockeys to find out horses to follow.
Firstly, Lyle, how are you feeling and recovering from your injury at the end of last season?
Yeah, really good. I left no stones unturned with the rehab, so that's been important with a fast recovery. They sort of expected 10 to 12 weeks and started riding work at 8 weeks. So things have been really good, and all the help I've received I'm very grateful for. And yeah, pretty good. Ankles 100%, and I'm sure come Sunday the 7th, the rest will be 100% too. So things are all positive, and can't wait to be back aboard at races.
Keegan, which horse are you looking forward to riding this season?
A very young horse. He's only had 2 starts. He's a horse called Perfect Day. I think he ran really well on debut and then followed it up by a good win. So I think with natural improvement, just getting older and the time, I think he's got a lot of improvement that I look forward to riding in.
Brenton, what horse are you looking forward to riding this season?
It's a little tricky start of the season. I'm riding Packing Hermit in the Group 3 early on in the season, so he's a horse I think who can develop into quite a nice horse for Francis Lloyd. But yeah, hopefully there's a nice PPG coming through and I can find the back of that. But yeah, Packing Hermit's probably the nice one I'm looking forward to early.
Jimmy, what horse are you looking forward to riding this season?
Probably a horse called Lucky 20 for Jimmy Ting. Won on him on debut. He was 60-1, so first start was impressive at Happy Valley from the outside barrier. So yeah, he's a horse that looking forward to come back this season, see what he can do.
Huey, which horse are you looking forward to riding this season?
Well, my favourite horse last year was Helios Express, who did eventually win his race towards the end of the season. But the horse I'm looking forward to is Sky Jewelry from the same yard, and he's started his career really well last season, and I think he's got plenty of upside, so he's hoping.
With the obvious of Ka Ying Rising, what are you also looking forward to this season?
Oh, you sound like the average bloke on the street that's trying to pry a little bit more information out of me. There's a few unraced horses there that I think have got some potential, and obviously Chris So's horse Lightness of Music won well at the end of last season, and I hope he can progress on a little bit. But I've got a couple of unraced ones there that I like, so stay tuned.
Let's find our best bets for the weekend. Hutch, I've got the pen poised.
Yeah, it's a good meeting, and hopefully both of these horses can win the best and the next best. My best will be Fast Network. I think will be hard to beat in race 8. And my next best, I think, is going to be pretty high up on Shane's list as well. And that is Invincible Ibis. And I'll let Shane take it away from there, Shane, because he seemed to put the writing on the wall last season, Invincible Ibis.
Yeah, it's 2 runs. Actually, he's my best bet of the day. You're not allowed to have my ones, Clint.
Yeah, he steals again.
You get your own. He's my best bet for the day. He was very impressive as 2 runs last season. He's going to go higher, this horse, for sure. He hasn't found he's found a pretty easy race. It's not a hard race, and he's got a good gate. He'll get a good... He might race a little bit closer from that gate, so he should be winning.
Outstanding as always, Golden Boy. Looking forward to an unbelievable season. HUTCHI'S Honkers is the place to find it all. Hope you enjoyed the show.